Hi, Country Mouse. Happy Saturday. Happy New Year. Hi, Fran. Happy New Year. Happy Saturday. Thanks for coming in. Kelly, Miss Mary, hi. Happy Saturday. Happy New Year. Thanks for coming in. Look at you. You're all number ones. You are. You're number ones. So glad you're here. Thank you for coming in. Just thought we'd get together, right? Just thought we'd get together. Our first live of the new year. I just wanted it to be loungy, right? Just loungy. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? We have Westminster chimes here at Lilleybugglane, friends. Chewy fixed the clock. He did it for me. He did it for me because he knew how much I wanted the chimes in that clock. He's been working on it diligently, friends. He certainly has. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know, right? I'm so glad you could hear it. Listen, friends, listen. If you don't have chimes in your house, if you don't have bells in your house, get them. Get them quick, friends. Get them quick. Let me tell you something. That is like the fourth, what do you call it? The fourth element that he has put in that clock. This one worked. It did. So I'm so excited. I'm so glad you all could hear it. It's way in the living room by the front windows on the couch table. That's where it's at. So super excited, right? Super excited. And this one you could choose. You could choose Ave Maria, you could choose Westminster, and then I think there's another one. Thank you, Fran. I think there's another one. I think it's Big Ben. I think you can choose, but I had to choose Westminster, friends. I did. And it will stop chiming. The last time it'll chime is at 10 p.m. and then it stays silent until 6 a.m. So it only chimes between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. During the day. So it stays silent. That's called silent time. That's what it's called, silent time. So anyway, I'm so excited, right? Isn't that exciting? I know. I knew Chewy could do it, right? I knew he could do it. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody had a great New Year's. I certainly do. We had leftover chili tonight, and we have enough for one more dinner. And then I think Chewy will be able to get a lunch out of the leftovers that are left. So we'll be having chili one more time on Monday before Chewy goes to bowling, because he bowls on Monday nights. So that's what we had for dinner tonight. We did. It's better every single time you have it, friends. The longer it sits, the better it gets, right? Right. So, right. It's quiet here tonight. It is. Everybody's upstairs. So I thought we would just get together and have a little bit of a chat, right? Excuse me. We didn't watch the ball drop, friends. We didn't. I know, right? I know. He was motivated, Kelly. He was motivated. Can I tell you, we didn't even watch the ball drop. We certainly didn't. Chewy came down 11:30 and he said, Lala, I'm going to bed. He said, I'm going to bed. I said, what? He said, I can't stay up.
So he went to bed 11:30, friends. I started going up at 11:45. I started shutting things down and went upstairs at 11:45. I sure did. Really, Fran? Only 1%? What was the 1% when the ball dropped? I'll look it up on YouTube. I'll look it up on YouTube. Did you really, Fran? Right? Yeah. Yeah. So our weather's been cold, right? Our weather's been cold. Now listen, we did have a little bit of sunshine. It was very, very exciting. We had a little bit of sunshine on New Year's Day, late in the afternoon. We certainly did. We had a beautiful moonrise on New Year's Day. We were able to see the moon come up, and that was fabulous. And then the sun tried really, really hard all day yesterday to peek out. And there were a couple of times when it did kind of come through, but not for any significant amount of time. So, excuse me. And I've been doing my light. So, yes, Fran, we're supposed to get to 49 on Thursday or Friday, but it's supposed to be cloudy all next week, cloudy with rain. But the temperatures are supposed to climb up. So, that'll be nice. Now I know, because I've been keeping up with Max very closely, I know that there is supposed to be a significant weather event in the Midwestern part of the state with bad storms and possible tornadoes in this coming week. So fingers crossed, friends, that that doesn't happen, because, you know, that's never good. That's never good, right? Never good. But our weather's been okay. We do have snow on the ground. There's been no wind, so that's a good thing, right? Because no wind is no bueno here at Lilleybugglane. Right? I like my hair too much, friends. I do. Okay, what do you think? I swapped out the lampshade. So I took the lampshade that was in the dining room on the front bureau where I have all my clock collection. I took that lampshade, brought it in here, and then took the lampshade that was here and put it in there. And I think that looks better. Do you all agree that that looks better? I think it does. I think the size of it looks better. Now the harp was as low as it could go when we talked about it the last time, because Chewy told me he had lowered the harp already. I didn't know that, but I think that one looks better. I think that one looks better. Friends, look at my nails. Let me tell you something. Hi, Mom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Mary. Thank you. Let me tell you something, friends. You see, my nails are naked, right? As soon as we're done here, I'm going to be doing my nails. After we got done with our New Year's circle time last Tuesday, I ripped those nails off faster than your head can spin around, right? I ripped those nails off. I hated them. Could you tell? I hated them. They were the wrong color. They were the wrong length. I hated them. And I knew I shouldn't have put them on when I was, sizing them to my nails. I said to Chewy, I said, I don't like these nails. I said, but I want a little bit, I want something. And I didn't want to do French nails because I wanted to be a little bit fancy because I had on the sparkle top, and it just didn't work, friends. It didn't work. It was harvest red, which is orangey red. And I'm not into the orangey red. So anyway, friends, so I'll be doing my nails, and I'll just be doing a French. Yeah, they were stubby. They were the short length. I like the medium length. See where it says up here where it says M? That tells you the length. That's what I like, is M, medium. So if anybody's gotten any texts from me and it looks like I'm having a stroke, that's because I don't have any nails on. Are you letting them grow again, Fran? Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to have natural nails, but I'm used to wearing the fake ones now. So I washed my hair today, friends. It's nice and soft. It's not Asian silky soft, but it's as close as I'm going to get. So I'm happy with it. It's a hell of a lot better than it was before, certainly. And I've got all these baby hairs up here from, my hair line thickening back up. So I've got all these baby hairs. You see, that's all crazy looking. So anyway, no more Christmas lights outside. I need to take down the Christmas wreath. I'll be doing that Monday. I'm going to leave the wreath up for the weekend, and I'll be taking that down. And then thankfully, the weather is going to be warm enough that Chewy can get out there and probably take down the lights Thursday or Friday, possibly. Take down the lights out of the trees and stuff like that, and the garlands off of the windows. So we had a bizarre thing happen last night here. Okay, and it's funny because we had just talked Three Kings Day. That'll be nice, Fran. That'll be nice. Are you going to put up Valentine's, Fran? Get your door all spiffed up. You've got the best door in the neighborhood, Fran. You do. Yep. I knew you would, Fran. This happened last night, and it's totally bizarre, right? And it's ironic, right? Because I was just bragging over the fact that we've lived here 22 years now, and we had only lost our electricity 3 or 4 times, right? I believe 3, maybe 4. But guess what happened last night? The most bizarre thing. It was like maybe 10:40, and all of a sudden the lights dimmed in the house. Like everything dimmed in the house. And then it went out completely, right? Then it came back on, but it came on like it was a dimmer getting turned up. It was the weirdest thing. And then it happened again, like less than a minute later. They came back on. Then it happened again, and they stayed off. And of course, the minute that the lights go off, you look outside because you want to see where there's lights, right? There were no lights anywhere, friends. No lights anywhere. The street lights were out. Everybody's house lights were out. Everybody's security lights were out. It was crazy. And then we heard a couple of our neighbors have the Generac generators. We heard those kick on. And of course, everybody's going outside with their mag lights, right? Because we all want to see what's going on, right? So I get our big old mag light. Chewy's upstairs getting, our little battery packs. No, Fran, no. It was a trifecta of catastrophe here. So apparently a transformer blew. Apparently a car hit a pole almost simultaneously, and then a water main break down in the city. But apparently the power outage rolled up towards us. It didn't happen simultaneously. It rolled up towards us. So we had no power last night from I guess it was between 10:45 and 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock. Exactly at 1 o'clock it came back on. Now they had estimated 3 a.m., but it did come back on at 1 a.m. Let me tell you something. The cats were so bejangled. Yes, Kelly. Yes. I have heard that too. A lot of the comments in some of the videos are saying that. Yeah. So, there's something going on down I guess there's something in South America that is causing the magnetation. It might be the Venezuelan thing. right? There's a lot of magnetism going on there, right? Right. But something is, you know, I don't know what, but it was a trifecta of catastrophe here with the water main break. Somebody hit a pole, and then we had the transformer blow. Now, the reason I know that is because our neighbor has the scanner app, right? There's supposed to be some scanner app that you can get for your local area. I like the old scanners, friends. Do you remember those? My grandpa Smith used to have one of those, an old scanner, and it used to sit up on the shelf in between the kitchen and the living room, and it was on all the time. Just real low, but you could hear it. Oh, that was just the quarter hour, friends. Could you hear it? I know, right? I'm so excited. I cannot stand it. So you all know, right? This is going to be the thing now. Like every 15 minutes and on the hour between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. here at Lilleybugglane, you know I'm going to squeal with delight, right? You know that, right? Until I get used to hearing it, I'm still going to love it just as much, but it's only been happening since this afternoon. So I know, right? I know. It's craziness, friends. It's craziness. Now, a local church here, when we first moved in, they used to do that. Every hour, the church bells would go off here. They don't do that anymore, friends. They certainly don't. It wasn't real bells back then. It was a recording, but you could hear it here at our house. And it hasn't happened in years. They stopped doing it. I know, right? I know. I remember back in the day when they would ring the church bells, especially at noon. They would ring the church bells at noon. So anyway, there we go, friends. There we go. We went out for Friday Fun Night last night. We certainly did, or Friday Fun Day. We did. We spent the whole day just tooling around here, there, and everywhere. It was crowded everywhere. It certainly was. There was a lot of traffic. I don't know. Would that be considered a noise ordinance, Fran? A violation? Yes. Yes, there's a conspiracy as to why that is, Kelly. Because it went from real bells ringing, right? Probably in Miss Mary's day and in my mother's day, right? Real bells ringing, right? Then it became a recording of real bells ringing, right? Now they don't do them anymore. Hardly at all. Hardly at all. Right? That's just like taps being played at military funerals. It's very rare to see a live performance of taps at a military funeral. You see them on TV. A lot of high-ranking officers can have it. You know, they are afforded a live performance of taps, but a lot of it is pre-recorded. A lot of it is pre-recorded, and there's a reason for that. And if you look up we're probably going to talk about this at some point, friends, but bells carry a frequency and a vibration through the air. And it has to do with the megahertz that go through the air, and it cleanses the air. The bells were cleansing the air. So, but I think during World War II, was it World War II, where they took a lot of the bells and melted them down for the war? They did. And then they just never replaced them. And the sound that was broadcast changed megahertz, I believe in 1945. They changed the megahertz of the sound that could be, the strength of the sound that could be broadcast. It's a whole thing, friends. It's very, very interesting. Yes, Fran. Yes. Do they? They do. It's live. It's live. Country Mouse. Because I know like the local American Legion here and stuff, it's a recording. It's a recording. So that's good. That's good. That's good. Guess what I have been obsessed with? I fell down a rabbit hole. I certainly did. Well, I fell down 2 rabbit holes in the last couple, like the last 36 hours. I fell down the Las Vegas shooting rabbit hole, right? I fell down that. Then, which the Las Vegas shooting was the most destructive mass shooting in American history. So just a little factoid for you. And that happened, that was that Jason Aldean concert. Remember that? Very, very interesting, friends, to fall down that rabbit hole. Then somehow I got on the Mount St. Helen eruption, right? I got on that, and I've been watching documentaries on that, which is crazy, right? It's crazy. Now, I remember when Mount St. Helen erupted, and it erupted more than once, friends. It was more than once in a short period of time. And I remember them saying that it was like a climate catastrophe and that it was going to cause worldwide weather and climate catastrophes worldwide, and that area was going to be like ruined for forever. And then I remember a couple of years later that people started taking pictures, and there were wildflowers and grass, and the trees were coming back to life, you know, around Mount St. Helen. So very interesting documentaries to watch about Mount St. Helen, because they had a lot of clues, right, that was going to erupt. They did. They knew it was going to erupt. So very interesting, though. That kind of stuff is very interesting. But I don't know how I got into that. I have no idea, friends. I have no idea. So we all know that, and I haven't been keeping up on any kind of world events or any kind of political events, anything like that. I do know one of my friends texted me about the Maduro situation. So there's that, right? There's that. And then we've got the stuff. Well, we'll see, right? We'll see. And then we've got the stuff that's happening over in Iran, right? So that's happening. And yeah, so there's a lot of things happening. 2026 started off with a bang, right? No pun intended. No pun intended, right? Let me tell you something. Here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know. Who would come to our aid? Who would come to our aid, right? Who comes to our aid when there's a disaster in our country, right? Who comes to our aid when there's unrest in our country? But who wants us to come to their aid when there's a disaster in their country? Everybody. Who wants us to come to their aid when there's unrest in their country? Everybody. Right? Right. We shouldn't be the world's police. We shouldn't be the world's bank. We shouldn't. Citizens should take care of their own countries, right? Liberty is everyone's individual responsibility. That's what it is, right? And It's not right for us to go into a country and try and change their culture. That's not our job. That's not our job. That's the job of the citizens that live there. That's their job, right? And it's unfortunate that other countries do not live under the same constitution and have the same constitutional rights that we do here in the United States of America. We are the only country in the world, friends, that have a constitution that guarantees free speech, right? No other country in the world has that. No other country in the world has citizens that are allowed to say the things that we are allowed to say here in this country. Right? Right. And I do quite think that, we should start making examples of people in our own country, right? Because we all know, right? We all know, because we all lived through COVID, right? And we all lived through January 6th, right? That making an example of people will get people to fall into line very, very quickly, or will stop bad behavior, right? So if you are caught stealing, chop, chop, friends, chop, chop, because that's what they do in Turkey. You're caught stealing, chop, chop, chop your hands off so you can't steal anymore. Now that may sound extreme, friends, but sometimes you gotta send a message, right? You gotta send a message. I'm for it. I'm for it. And if you've committed billions of dollars in fraud, right? Billions of dollars in fraud, and you have bankrolled a third world country's government that terrorizes and tortures and does whatever they do, you are treasonous to this country, Tim Walz. You should be in jail. And let me tell you what they used to do to traitors back in the day, right? Back in colonial days and, coming up, friends, coming up. See, we have suicidal empathy in this country. We have suicidal empathy. We are willing to sacrifice our own citizens just to look good to people, right? Because we don't want to be called names. We don't want to be called names, friends. We don't. So we'll sacrifice our own country's values and our own country's morals and our own citizens, and we'll compromise our own national culture, right? Just to be compassionate and empathetic and welcoming, right? I said it before and I'll say it again. This country was meant to be a melting pot, right, of ethnicities. And people that came over to this country were fully expected and were willing to assimilate into the culture of the United States of America, right? Now, not so much, friends, not so much. And that wasn't organic. That wasn't an organic thing. That wasn't an organic thing. I mean, you saw this coming down the pike, didn't you? You sure did. You sure did. But anyway, friends, so there's that in Venezuela, right? And let me tell you something. You could track this stuff as it was happening, right? When Venezuela turned communist, right? And they started eating the dogs because they ran out of food and everything, right? I mean, it was just going to start marching closer and closer and closer, right? That's how it goes, right? And we, America, the United States of America, right? We need to take care of our own. We got enough damn problems in this country. I want to know where all the money's going. And I don't want any money coming out. I don't want any money going out anywhere to anyone. And if that makes me some kind of obist or ism or whatever or ist, then that's all well and good. That's all well and good. But America and Americans first. Full stop. Full stop, friends. Full stop. So we're just doing loungy tonight, right? We are. We are. That was a little roller coaster ride, friends. It was. I don't know too much about the Venezuelan thing. I know Maduro. I know Maduro kind of like, grabbed his crotch and squeezed a little bit and got a little bit testy. And we all know Donald J. Trump, right? He does not like that. He does not like that. So he gave him the smackdown, and we'll just see what happens, right? We'll just see what happens. But, you know, FOFA, right? Or FAFO, right? FAFO, is that what it is? I think that's what it is. That's a half hour. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Maybe it's good that it's not going to play throughout the night, because could you imagine? Could you imagine at 2 o'clock in the morning that going off? I would be jumping out of bed and just doing the happy dance as it's going off, right? I know. Oh my gosh. That is too fabulous, friends. That is too fabulous, isn't it? I am just so happy about it. I know. I'm a Looney Tune, right? I'm a Looney Tune. So, not too much Christmas left in any of the stores. Not too much Christmas left in any of the stores at all. Our local Walmart here only has like maybe 3 aisles in the garden department of Christmas left. And it's just, it's not, they'll just probably donate it somewhere or put it in the trash compactor. Oh, I have to tell you something. Speaking of the local Goodwill. So Chewy and Louise went over to Ohio today, right? And, oh, you haven't, Fran? Aw. Well, be careful if you go out, Fran. You got that new mare, right? I know, Fran. I know. I heard a little bit about it. All you gotta do is whistle, friend. I'll come right up to the state line. You gotta get yourself from you to the state line, but I'll be waiting there for you. Right? I know. You did not, Kelly. You did not. That is wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy. Good, Fran. Good. You do it. You do it. No way, Kelly. Did you really? That is wonderful. That's great. Okay. Good night. Thanks for stopping in. You know, the old people. So anyway, that's wonderful, Kelly. That's wonderful. It has the flip lights. It has the flip lights and 8 functions. What are flip lights? Very nice, Fran. That's good. 8 foot? Oh, wow. That's tall. That's tall. A pencil tree will work nice for you. Oh, flip from white to multi. Okay, okay. Good. That's so neat. Fran, is yours pre-lit? Your ceiling is 9 foot. Okay, so you got a little bit of room, Fran. You got a little bit of room. You're going to have to get up on a chair or something, Fran. Get Francesca up on that ladder. Right? That's really good, Kelly. That's a fabulous. So, what is that? Is that 75% off? Because the Christmas was 75. Yeah, you will, Fran. You will. The Christmas was 75% off, Kelly. So is that 75%? I can't do math right now because I'm wearing glasses. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have two things to tell you. First of all, we all know what the next holiday is, right? We all know. It's Valentine's. Tines. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's outstanding, Kelly. Outstanding. You and Fran found some fabulous deals. You certainly did. It's Valentine's, friends. Okay? It's Valentine's. You're not 5. You're not a 5-year-old, right? That can't quite say words right. I can't tell you, right, how much secondhand embarrassment I have hearing a grown-ass adult say Valentine's. Okay? It's not Valentine's, friend. It's not. It's Valentine's. Okay? And it's not cute, and it's not funny, right? It's not. It's not. That's one thing. Valentine's, right? Valentine's. Yeah, Kelly, right? I mean, we're not 5. We're not 5. And if you're a Gen Xer, you were saying Valentine's when you were 3, if you're a Gen Xer, right? Because back in the day, if we said a word wrong, everybody in our lives corrected us, right? And we had to write it on the board, or we had to write it, 10 times each in a notebook or spelling notebook or whatever, right? Valentine's. Tines. Valentine's. Okay? Yes. Yes. And listen, there's Google. There's Google. Okay? So you can always Google how to say a word, right? You can always Google how to say a word. Like Biotin, 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 not Boyton, biotin. My word of the year is not correcting, friends. That's not my word of the year. And my year doesn't start until April the 1st, right? Right. Anyway, let me tell you the second thing. Chewy and Louise went to Ohio today, right? And they went out to the mall. They went to lunch. Chewy likes to go over to the Sam's over in Ohio because they carry different things than they do at the Sam's over in Butler. So he likes to check things out, right? He likes to check things out. And gas is way cheaper over in Ohio. It is. It's cheaper here now. It's cheaper here now. We're under $3 a gallon, which took forever, but it happened. But it's still cheaper over in Ohio. So they go over there and fill up the gas tanks and everything. So they went to Ohio. They stopped at our local Walmart as they were coming back in, okay? Now, I don't think I've mentioned this to you all. There is a parking lot Shamil. Oh my God. You filled up for $2.39, Jody? Oh my gosh, that's cheaper than we are, Jody. What's up with that? There is a parking lot cat up at the Walmart. It is an all black cat. It looks to be an older kitten, okay? It looks to be an older kitten. Now, one of the guys that Chewy bowls with had mentioned it at bowling one night around Thanksgiving, that there was a cat up in the Walmart parking lot.
and that, there had been a couple people that had tried to, um, rescue it, but it wasn't coming to people. I personally saw this cat went right around Thanksgiving. It might have been after Thanksgiving. We were pulling in and we saw the cat run through in between. No, Jody, we don't even have cat number 5 yet, Jody, because I keep saying it in my mind. I saw the cat run in the parking lot in between the rows of cars, right? So Chewy and Louise are at the Walmart today, and Louise had never seen the cat. Well, she saw it today because there was a lady that was feeding the cat and she was on the phone. She put down a can of food and the cat came to the food. So Chewy thinks that she was trying to, get it. But it's an older kitten and it's all black. So, but there's been quite a few people that have seen it in our neighborhood. And then people that bowl with Chewy have seen it. But it's been up there for a while. So, and there's a big fence because the Walmart butts up to the interstate on one side. And there's a fence. Do you, Fran? Kelly. We've got a little shelter out there for them to keep warm in the winter, and they've got food out there. Now, I can't do water because it freezes, right? But they're being taken care of the best that they can right now. So, and they stay pretty well hidden, right? They stay pretty well hidden. I don't think they're feral, right? Because feral cats, you never see truly feral cats. You never see them, right? And if you watch on YouTube about like the urban cat colonies that people take care of and stuff like that, they'll just put food out and then they leave because you never see a feral cat. Are they, Fran? Yeah. Feral cats are like unseen. And if you do see them, it's like a split second sight of them, and then they're gone, right? Usually the strays, right, are the ones that you can see. They'll be seen. They might not come up to you, right? They won't like approach you unless, in my mind, unless they come from a domesticated mother. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that if they come from a domesticated mother and maybe they're just like put outside to fend for themselves, they seem to want to come to you. But if it's a stray born of a stray, they're still strays, right? They're not like feral, right? We've got a house in our vicinity that is known as the cat house, and they've got like between 14 and 20 cats living in the yard. They have like little cat carriers and bigger dog carriers set out in their yard in different places, and the cats kind of congregate there and they feed them and everything. So that's kind of a house that is known in this area. And then there's a couple of houses in the neighborhood that have outdoor shelters for any stray cats that may be around, right? So, but there's a few in our neighborhood that are wandering around. So different people are feeding them, and there's shelter and everything. We've never had anybody stay for long periods of time. They'll kind of, travel through and get a little bit of food and then move on. I've tried to approach them. I certainly have. And they'll look at me, freeze, and run away, right? And that's not feral. That's just stray,
right? Scaredy cat stray kind of a thing. So anyway, so I do hope that that lady and Chewy said that he and Louise sat there for a few minutes and watched what she was doing, and he thinks that she was trying to, coax it towards her because she had a little can of food and everything that she put down. So I do hope that, it is rescued from the parking lot there, because that's not the safest place for an animal to be, in a Walmart parking lot. So, and it's next to the interstate, but there's a big old fence, but it's a chain link fence. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite sure that it could find its way somehow, and then that wouldn't be a good thing either. So anyway, now this is 45. That's 45 minutes. So it there's like a small piece of it, a larger piece of it, a larger piece of it, and then on the hour, it'll play the full thing, and then it'll play the chimes. I know, right? I'm just crazy. It's the simple things, friends, that bring you joy, isn't it? It's the simple things that bring you joy. I've been thinking a lot about words, friends. I've been thinking a lot about words. Yes, Kelly. I've been thinking a lot about words, and I've been thinking a lot about words that weren't used a lot like 10 years ago, right? And I've been thinking about words that were used 10 years ago that aren't used now. And joy is one of those words. Joy is one of those words. And I'm going to tell you what word joy replaced. Joy replaced happiness, right? You don't hear very many people say, I'm doing this because it makes me happy, right? They say, I'm doing it because it brings me joy, right? Joy, not happiness, joy. And I have a theory, friends. I have a theory about why they're replacing happiness with the word joy, right? I have a theory as to why they're doing that, and why they're using the word joy or the word grace or forgiveness or things like that. I have a theory as to why that is, right? I do, friends. I do. But anyway, it was very busy when we were out. It was very busy. And can I tell you, people's carts were full. They were full. Valentine's out in full display at the Walmart. Yeah. Valentine's is all out, friends. It's all out. And Fran, they have a heart wreath that is pearls. It's all pearls, Fran. And it made me think of you for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. I'll have to take a picture of it. But it's home decor, and it's like this heart, and it's just covered in pearls. I'll take a picture of it for you, Fran. But all that stuff's out. And in the garden section, not the indoor garden section, but the outdoor garden section, Chewy went out there. Guess what's out there, friends? Wrapped in shrink wrap, seed packets. Did you, Fran? Yeah. They have those at the Walmart, pre-made, Fran. They do. Except I think it's pink and red ornaments, right? Pink and red ornaments. Do you all remember years ago when I made that candle holder out of those heart scatters? Do you remember that? I still have that, friends. Do you know I still have that? I know, right? I take care of my things. I do.
Not that you don't, but I do. I know, right? And let's see, lots of things going on clearance. So keep your peepers open, friends, because you can pick up Christmas gifts for 2026, right? Oh, and just to let you all know, mark it in your calendars for 2026. December 25th is Christmas. So you have all this time, friends, to plan, right? So nobody should get caught off guard. Nobody should get caught with an empty budget for Christmas, right? Because I'm telling you right now, December 25th, 2026 is Christmas, friends. It is. It happens every year. It happens every year. I think tonight is the full moon. Is tonight the full moon? Oh, it is. Tonight is the full moon. I hope if you can see it, you go out and look at it. Because let me tell you something. It sure was nice on New Year's Day night, right? It sure was pretty. Coming up through the trees. It was nice. It was nice, friends. I have our first secondhand living video coming out on Monday, friends. So keep your peepers open for that. Make sure that your notification bell is on for the channel, right? Make sure. And that way you know when I upload a video, we go live or I post something on the community page. And yeah, right? And when we were riding home from Butler yesterday, excuse me, when we were riding home from Butler yesterday, the guy on Sirius Radio said 170 days until summer. So if you can count down until Christmas, I can count down until summer. That's exactly what I'm doing, friends. That's exactly what I'm doing, right? I know. But I do have a video coming out. It's a total shit show, friends, right? It's a total shit show. And, you know, what would it not be here at Lilleybugglane for our first secondhand living video of 2026 if it wasn't a shit show? So that'll be out on Monday evening, friends. So there we go, right? There we go. I'm hoping that the weather will warm up a little bit. Because I have I think in my mind, I have a really good outfit for Womanly Wednesday for one of our circle times. So fingers crossed that it'll warm up a little bit because I'd love to try out this outfit because I think it'll look pretty smart. Oh. Guess what one of the trends is for 2026, friends? And again, this is like bizarre to me. Okay? Because you know I wore that poet bow, right? Right? With my sweaters, right? Yes, Fran, crochet. But one of the trends, right, is it's called poet core. It's called poet core, friends. And it's the big collars, it's the bows, it's the like the full sleeves, it's the ruffled cuffs. It's called poet core, friends. And it is a shoot, it's like a side shoot of dark academia, right? It's called dark academia, but it's called poet core, which it's a coincidence, right? Because I just started wearing the poet's bow with my outfits, right? They are cute, Fran, right? They are cute. So that's going to be a trend, friends. That's going to be a trend is poet core. It's called poet core. But I think that's more dress, right? I think that's more like a dressing trend than, because poet core, how would you do that for decorating? I'm not quite sure. Because you have grandma core, you have an insane asylum core, which, you know, is also known as farmhouse or minimalism, right? Right. And then you have vintage core, garden core, you know, shabby chic, traditional, you know, things like that.
Um, coastal. That's a decorating thing too. But yeah, friends. So I think color is going to start making its way back. Keep your peepers open at the Walmart as they bring out the spring clothing, and you'll see that there is a lot more color. There's a lot more color than there has been in years past. So that is a good thing, friends. That is a good thing, right? Because we need color in our lives. Human beings need color and we need beauty in our lives. So hopefully things will start looking prettier, right? And be more colorful, right? And we can help make that happen, right? We certainly can. So, but we're going to be busy tomorrow. So we're going to be busy tomorrow. We are. And let's see. Chewy's off till Wednesday, friends. He is. He is. He had a bunch of leave that he had to take, use it or lose it, as they say. And so he took a bunch of days off so he wouldn't lose them. And so he's been home, right? He's been home. It's been a lot of fun, friends. It sure has. He's got 5 years till he retires, permanently retires. So, but you know, he's been getting things done. Fixing the clock. I know, right? I know. Can I tell you? Apparently, I know, right, Fran? Apparently, that has been on since this afternoon, right? Since like 3 o'clock this afternoon. We were sitting at dinner, right? And we're sitting there and it goes off. And I had been busy all day around Lilleybugglane, so I wasn't listening, and I had an earbud in because, of course, you know, I told you I was falling down a rabbit hole and I was watching documentaries. We're sitting at dinner and that thing goes off. I about lost my mind. I thought it was Chewy's phone. I thought he had set a ringtone on his phone. And I'm like looking everywhere and thinking, what in the world is that? Then I realized what it was. And I was so excited. I was so excited. So anyway, friends, he did. Well, it was funny because Louise said to me, she said, Mom, she said, it's been going off since 3 o'clock this afternoon. You haven't heard it? And I was like, no, I was down in the basement doing laundry. I was upstairs, you know, organizing things upstairs, taking care of things. And I wasn't listening. I was listening to things about Mount St. Helen and about the Las Vegas shooting in my ear. I wasn't paying attention to what was happening around me, but I guess I should have, right? I know, friends. I know. So if you don't, thank you, Kelly. I know. If you all don't have, and I know I've said this before, and you're going to roll your eyes, let me tell you something. Your eye muscles get a real good workout here at Lilleybugglane, don't they? They do. They get a real good workout. And, but you know, I've said it before. You all know we have so many analog clocks here. I don't believe in digital clocks. I don't. I believe in analog clocks, and I like to hear the ticking of the analog clocks, right? If you don't have, right? Fran! Fran, you're the best eye roller. You certainly are. If you don't have a ticking clock, right, in your home, get one, friends. Get one, right? Put it in the kitchen and just sit at the kitchen table and listen to the ticking of the clock. It is so soothing, friends. It's so soothing. And I can't express it enough, right? It brings me joy. It brings me joy, friends. It does. You would be surprised what ailments a ticking clock will cure. Just like making your bed, friends. Just like making your bed every day, right? Make that bed every day. Sit and listen to that. Sit and listen to that ticking clock for 15 minutes, right? with a good cuppa, right? Cup of tea, cup of coffee, cup of cucumber water, right? You'd be surprised. It'll cure what ails you, friends. You think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? Okay. Okay. Clean that sink. Iron some wrinkly clothes, right? I know, friends. I know. It's all about loving yourself, right? Love yourself. So there we go, friends. I just thought we'd hang out for a little while, chit chat. I wanted you to hear my chimes too. I didn't even know I had the chimes when I posted that we were going to have a Loungey Saturday night get together. I didn't even know about it. So that's just an added surprise, right? I know. And you'll hear the chimes a lot more here at Lilleybugglane. And I won't do this every single time, I promise. Wonderful, right? That is it. That is our sign to say good night, friends. Good night, friends, right? Oh my gosh, I'm just going to be so excited. So it's only going to go off one more time tonight at 10 o'clock, right? And then it'll stay silent until 6 a.m. Right? I know. Thank you all so much for spending this time with me here this evening. I hope that you have enjoyed our time together as much as I have. And you know I have, friends. I always do. Please feel free, if you're watching this on the replay, to leave a comment down below, right? Hi, Kimmy. Thank you so much for being here. Happy New Year. Feel free to leave a comment down below, friends. We love to hear from you. We certainly do. And you might even be made a star, right? Right. Are we ready, friends? I think we're ready. I hope you are happy. I hope you're happy and finding lots of glimmers in your days, friends, right? We look for the glimmers in our days. I hope you're healthy. Take your zinc every day, friends. It is up to us. It certainly is. We didn't even talk about the super flu that is going around, right? Right, friends. Take that zinc. Take that zinc! Let's all say it together. Healthy people are not profitable. They certainly aren't. And we know they're not, right? Right. And I hope you're safe. I certainly do. Know the weather in your area so you can be prepared and not scared. Check out Max Velocity on YouTube. He's my favorite weather boy to know the weather that is expected in your area. I think of you all often. You are never far in my thoughts, friends, and we will be together again soon. Have a great rest of the weekend. Don't forget, there's a video coming out Monday evening, and we will see each other live again on Wednesday for Circle Time. Good night.